So in today's video, we're going to be changing the shell on the TX15 Max. So I bought this radio last year, absolutely love it, it's my favourite radio to date. And when I bought it, you had the option of ordering the standard or the one with all the bling, so the TX15 Max. And that's what I wanted, because I wanted the AGO2 gimbals, I wanted the metal buttons, obviously all the bells and whistles. However, when you buy this, the only option you have, and I think that's the same today, is to have this carbon plate. And as nice as it looks, I'm not a massive fan of it. But I wanted all those features. Now, since then, they've brought out the Crush, and I love those editions, all the different colours, but you don't get them with the AGO1 gimbals or the metal buttons. Radiomaster, please release the option to have the TX15 Max in the Crush colours, because that's what we want. But I reached out to Radiomaster and asked them if they would sell me a shell separate, because you can only really buy the grey shell, and they responded. So I managed to buy a white shell. I think I paid $6 for each side, so the front and back, plus a little bit of shipping, so it wasn't too bad at all. Since I've had the T8L, I'd never normally choose a white radio thinking it'll get dirty, but I really like how this looks and feels. So I'm thinking if we can get the TX15 Max, we'll have that as white and red. I think it'll look amazing. So we'll go through it together, and hopefully if you're going to do this yourself, you'll be able to learn how to do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's start undoing some of these things. So we're going to have to take the battery out as well. They're just my little covers for my sticks. And let's take the battery out, because we're not going to be needing that. Okay, set that to one side. And obviously you want to be careful when you put these down. You don't want to be damaging your gimbals. And then we're going to just pull off the back covers. These just rip off nice and easily. That's one. And that's two. I'm just going to put my gimbal cover on a little bit, just so it doesn't damage it when I flick it over. Just loosely. There we go. Now I've got a selection of tools. I've got all my hex drivers and a crosshead. So 2mm hex driver. So we're going to take out the corner screws first. This one. And we've got the top corner. And we've got this corner as well. And that will come off there. Now, I'm just going to be careful because I've obviously got my screws in there. We don't want to lose those. So if we look at the back cover that we're switching to, not much to change on there at all. Okay, so what we're going to do for this one, we're just going to take the back strap off here. And that looks like it's a 2.5mm. 2, and just 2 on this side. And last but not least, this one here. Okay, we can set that to one side, and now we'll bring in our new back cover, and that'll just plonk straight on there. So that first bit is nice and easy. And there is our back cover. So that's how it's going to look when it's done. We can live with that, black and white. Okay, so we set that to one side, and now let's have a look at the main part. So you're going to have to take a lot of things out here and remember where they go, and you're going to need a crosshead screwdriver and take out these corner screws. We've got this one. And what I'll do for now, I'll just put them on my mat there. I know where they've come from anyway. I think they're all the same size, but we'll just stick them on here so we know where they've come from. One there. Another one there. We've got a little one just hidden underneath the ELRS antenna. Okay, so the next section, we need to take out these corner little pieces here, and this is going to be our little 1.5mm, just a tiny one there. It just pulls off. It just pulls off, and we've got a little clip on here for our antenna that we just want to pop off carefully. What we're going to do, so we don't lose them, let's put the screws just in there for now. I think we'll take the gimbals out as well. So the gimbals are going to be a little crosshead. Get your Phillips. So we've got 4 screws holding in the gimbals. Yours may look a little bit different if you've not got the AGO1s or AGO2s. But this is what mine are looking like. I'm obviously going to speed it up for the other side. It's going to be identical. But we've got 4 screws, and then we've got some little connectors in here. So again, carefully get those connectors out. I'll just pull them out on both sides for now. We'll pull them all out. In fact, I'm going to loosen the other side as well very quickly, because I'm going to have to take the gimbal protector off so we can lift out these gimbals. And then make sure you unplug all the little connectors, again, carefully. Use the little tabs, press them to get them out so you're not going to break anything. Last thing you want to do is break something in there. And then if we just take off our gimbal protector from the back. Okay, that's my gimbal protector off. And then if I sit the radio down, you'll see these should just pop out. There we go. So we've got those. Again, we'll just set those off to one side and make sure we find all the little screws. Make sure we've got enough. So that's 4 for there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got 1 missing, which must be around somewhere. I'm sure we'll stumble across it when we take it apart. Right, here we go. So we're getting into the nitty-gritty of things now. So this board looks quite loose. We've got another couple of screws here and here. So let's loosen those. Back with your Phillips. On that rubber mat up there. Doesn't matter where they go, they're all the same, the ones that hold the board in. Okay, and again, we've got another couple of little connectors. Let's pull those out as well. Very carefully. Don't want to break anything here. Nearly missed it, so be careful with that one as well. That's out, that's out. And we've got a little ribbon cable here. So to get this out, we just lift this up, lift the little black thing up carefully. Like so, I don't know if you can see that. Just lift it up slightly, and then this should just pull out. Careful with that. You don't want to break that. That's for your screen. Just notice another little connector there. So we've got these little buttons here. These should just pull off. I think these just pop off, these buttons. Yeah, these just pull off. So we've got the right side and the left side. They just kind of pop. Carefully, they pop off. And although we shouldn't need to yet, we'll just take out these little switches as well. So your Phillips. When we get down to the bare board, it's easier to move things as you go to the other case, but we've not got enough pieces out yet to do that. So that's that switch. Pull that out. And the same on the other side. That's one. And what I'm trying to do is keep all the parts together. So keep these screws with these switches, although these are the same as that are on the board. So if you do mix a few up, you should be all right. Just pop that out as well. And again, as you see, that's going on this side of my desk. So I know kind of where everything's come from. Right, what we need to do, we need to take these pots off. So if you look, if I screw them like this to the top, we've got 2 little screws. Now, if you've not got the metal ones of these, I don't think that has them. I think they just pull off. But for the metal ones, it's the tiniest little screw and it's a hex. So I'll just loosen that little bit and they should slide off. There we go. So that was our right one. So it just goes in. The slightest of turns, this one's a little bit trickier. There you go, slightest of turns, just to loosen it. And then that slides off. And on the back of the board, it should now all just lift out. So you can see, we've got some little connectors here. Just make sure they go through those little holes. There you go, so you don't rip them off. They just bend. And if we lift that out, that is our main board. Now what I want to do is I want to kind of have a look, right, what can we move straight across bit by bit? So if I kind of move things over, we'll just have a look what comes out. So we've got these little buttons, which is our model button. So again, that we saw that popped out, so we'll just pop that straight in there. Same on the other side, just pop that out and pop that in on that side. So get it lined up and it kind of just clicks down. Give it a bit of a shove. There we go. And those buttons are in there. So let's have a look at what else we can lift out. We can probably take out these middle little buttons here. Let's undo the little button on that side. Okay, we can see that one. And again, just move it straight over to the opposite side and let's screw that in. Doing it this way you're just going to keep track of things a lot easier. And again, don't go to town on these, just snug. Same on the opposite side. Move that straight over. Basically, these are our little trim switches. Okay, they're in there. Now you can already see these buttons are already falling out, so let's just make sure we get them in the right order. Can't remember what that order was. So let's go to the opposite side. What have we got? We've got telly, which I know goes at the bottom. Then we've got page up and page down. I think they go that way. We'll have a look. So if you tilt your radio upside down, these are going to fall out, but let's just check it. Page forward, page back. I think that's right, something like that anyway. Okay, we've got our screen. So we've got 4 Phillips screws in the bottom there. So quickly just take those out. Oh, there's another one there. Sorry, there's a 5th one on the bottom as well. Okay, let's pull a little bracket off. So we've got our little bracket. And then, how does that screen come out? Does it just lift out? I'm just giving a little bit of pressure on here to pop that out. There we go. And that just pops straight out. And then that will should just drop straight in the opposite side. Push it into place. And that snaps in. Already losing those buttons. Let's put our little connector on here as well. And put those screws back in. Right, so we've got those in there. Let's have a little look at our parts again. So I noticed we've got a little, I think this is our little vibration motor down here. So that's got 2 little screws. Can we get that last little screw? We can, and that cover just basically pops off. And then how does this vibration motor? Oh, it just literally falls out. So again, let's go straight over to our new housing to put that in, slot that into place, put our little cover on top. We've got our little plastic buttons here. I think they just push through. Right, how do these little buttons come out? Looks like they just have a little tab on them. Right, so we're going to come back to this little piece. Still being a little bit stubborn. So let's just lift out our little lights. Again, if you haven't got lights in your radio, you won't see this. But obviously this is the Max, so I have. So that one just comes out there. And the other one just pulls out again. There we go. And we're going to slide that back in there as well. Just going to make sure my wires go down in that hole so it's nice and tidy. What have we got next? We've got our little power button in the middle. That just pops out and pops in again on the other side, and it snaps into place. We've got a little hex in here. I say little, it looks like is that a 2.5 mil? Yeah, 2.5 mil. This is for our lanyard. How does it come off? Just pulls off. And let's screw it into place. Make sure it's straight. So we'll get it started. I'm just going to leave those buttons to one side. They're going to keep falling out. We'll put them in last. What have we got now? Our top switches here. Now, to get these off, you can get a little tool. Helps you screw them off. I don't have that tool. So if you look, it's got a little bit of a dent in it. So I'm just going to use a little knife just to push those and be able to turn those off. So what I should be able to do is, if I just, you're probably going to scrape them up like this, but you should just be able to get them and just give them a little turn. There you go, it's loose already. That's one. This one's a little bit tighter. There we go. Let's just take these little plastic covers off for now, off my switches. There we go. And we should just be able to twist those off now. Okay, so that's one side. I've taken those off and let's just have a look how they come out. Yeah, they literally just fall out. So let's put them on, make sure they're on the right side, drop those in. And then all we're going to do is just screw these back on, just to hold them in place. We'll just do it gently for now, and then we'll tighten them with a knife again. It's already starting to look good, this. And then all we'll do, just gently, not to mark anything, just give it a little turn. And they're in place. Now, I want to get them a little bit more snug, so just pull it down, just carefully. There we go, and they're solid as a rock. So I'm just going to repeat that on the opposite side, and then we'll move on to the next section. There you go. Perfect. Looking nice. That button's on there. That's nice and tight. They're working. Perfect. Next thing to take off is the speaker. So that's just two little screws here. And that module, again, just moves straight over to our new housing. Next, we've got our other little two trims in the middle. And they just, again, we'll keep this, make sure we keep the same side. I don't know if it matters, but let's make sure we do use the same size that we took it out from. They just drop into there and just snug them down. And then just check those. And they feel good. Perfect. Right, so now we just need to get these last buttons out. Now, I must admit, I'm having a little bit of an issue getting this out. They do just push through. Oh, there we go. Yes. Right, these are a challenge. So what I've had to do is like really lift up on it and then get my knife in and kind of pop this out. Oh, there we go. Looks straightforward, but honest to God, for the power of editing, it only took me 2 minutes, but wow, that was a little bit of a challenge. So I'll just push them in the other side, watch them drop straight in. Nice and easy. Yeah. Absolutely no issue. So last but not least, we've just got to take this antenna out. Now, you probably see it's kind of press fitted, so we need to squeeze these little bits in and it should pop out. Just use some little tweezers just to, if these are big enough, just squeeze those sides in a touch. There we go. Look worse than it was, but basically the sides just squeeze in and then we'll thread that through on that side and that should just pop back in place. Make sure it goes in the right way. Perfect. If we look at our last shell now, that's basically everything removed. So we can set that to one side. Right, now it's just a case of putting everything back in and trying to remember how we did it. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to probably start towards the top here. I remember these switches, we kind of took them out last. Now they just push into place on there, just carefully, and the same on the opposite side. And we're just going to screw those back in. It's these little screws, which are the same as when we took the board apart. So let's plop those two in. And I'll speed it up, but we'll just pop the two screws in the opposite side as well. So we've got the SE on that side, kind of slide into place and just carefully pop onto the button. Just like so. So you kind of put it at an angle and then it should just pop into place. Like so. You see that? We've got those two switches. Then we're going to drop our gimbals in, and you probably notice I'm having to hover it above my desk. You don't want to sit on your gimbals and damage those. So let's just get those screws in. Just tight enough because you are screwing into plastic. I'm just going to quickly put the other side in and then I can put my gimbal protector on. There we go, so we're not damaging anything. So let's just shove these buttons back on. So telly at the bottom. Our return key goes to the top. And then we've got our page back and page forwards. I think page up goes to the top. I'm pretty sure it does. You've obviously got all these wires everywhere, so just be careful. You don't want to trap anything, and everything needs to be out, this one as well. So what I would recommend doing is lifting these wires first, just get generally where you want it to go, and then the ribbon cable needs to find its little hole. Just very, very carefully, just kind of look at the board and go, oh, is everything, are all these wires where they need to be? Everything's loose at the top. Now we've got another little wire in there as well. Let's just pull that out. Another one here. We've got all these little wires here. Just make sure that everything is kind of out where it needs to be. This last one. Right, so all those wires are looking pretty good. Now, before we shove anything into place, we've got to get these top sections in. So carefully, just lift it up and angle it a little bit. And you should find that angled, it's just dropped into place now, nice and easy. We shouldn't have to really press much, but let's just carefully feel around, make sure everything's right, and it's snapped into place. Now what we'll do, let's put in some of the screws just to hold the board down here and here. We've got here, and we've got here, here and here. So I'm just going to go around and carefully put those screws in. Right, so now what we're going to do, let's go around and let's plug some of these wires in, and then we'll put our top section on as well. So first of all, we've got our little ribbon cable. Very, very careful. Make sure the black thing is up. So again, very, very careful. You don't want to break these. And then once it's in, push that little tab down, and that just locks it into place. We've got our little buttons in here. And don't forget, twist these cables up and put them through the little plastic things just to keep things nice and tidy. Same again, so this one comes into this first one here. We've got this little connector on the side here that just plugs in. Try and keep everything nice and tidy. Same on the opposite side, push that into place so it clicks in. And again, tuck those wires in. We don't want it interfering with the gimbal. So we've got our two connectors, one big, one small, self-explanatory. That's that one clicked in, and this one as well. There you go, you can hear them click in, and the same on the opposite side. So we've got our big one here, and our next one along. Now we have this little connector. This one plugs into this top right bit here. Again, make sure you put it in the right way. Click that into place as well. As you can see, that's pushed in, and then just get rid of that cable. Get that cable tucked out the way. We've got our little vibration motor. That'll just plug in as well. A little bit fiddly. That's pushed in. And everything looks pushed in there. We've just obviously got our last connector. So now, if we get our board, so let me just show you this. So on the bottom here, you've got this little connector. You can just about make it out. That clicks into here. So you've got to be careful. So what I would recommend is put your UFL connector on first, because it's probably going to be easier. There, we've got that clicked on. And then just slowly, again, make sure all your wires are out of the way. Nice and gently. Line up your holes. And when we know the holes, so that isn't lined up yet. Those holes are lined up. It should just click into place like that. And now we've got our little screws here, our little hex screws. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Pop them back in. Awesome. Now this should just gently does it. So again, we've got to make sure we get this lined up with our hole on here. There it is. And very gently. Yeah, that is clicked together. So last but not least, let's go round and put our corner screws in. Perfect. If you've got an SD card, now's the time to put it back in. I don't use one on this. I don't need it. It's built in. We'll plug our little connector in. Slot that in there. Back cover. Just going to put my little stick ends in there. They hide in there. Pop our back cover on. And then we've got our side grips. The way to put these on is slide them in the side first. And then you should just be able to tuck them in. And there we go, that's one side on. And now just the same on the other side. Push it in. There you go, and push that one on there as well. And that's looking good. Now what we can do, we can take this off. And then all we've got to do is put on our little switches here. So if you look, they have got an angle on them, and it's got an angle on there as well. So they only go on one way. And the next one, push that on. And just give it a little tighten on there. And now those switches, yeah, they're not coming off. Put our little covers on, our little switch covers on. So I have this for my arming switch. Slide those on. And our yellow one. Let's clear the crap and let's have a look how it looks. Look at that. That look absolutely fantastic. So the actual black works well. I don't mind this at all. It's great. Look at that. So these black grips obviously work really well with the black here. And obviously we've got the black on top and our black buttons. But I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Now I know some people like the gold, there's green, I think there's purple as well, but to me that looks great. Black's okay, but for me the black carbon, it's all right. It's a little bit, I think it looks a little bit cheap. Time will tell how this holds up to being clean things, but looks absolutely brilliant. Now the last thing you need to do is, once you've taken your radio apart, if you ever mess with your gimbals, you need to calibrate your sticks. That's important, because all those movements and just moving things around, you're going to throw your sticks out of whack. So we're going to go into system, then we're going to go into, I think it's radio setup, hardware, and if we scroll down, calibration. So if we click on calibration, and you'll see we've got all our sticks on here. So all you want to do is you want to put your stick in the middle, and then if we click start, so it says center all your axis and your pots and stuff. So all that's done. That's perfect. And then we're going to click next. So then we're going to go on here and we're going to move everything to the extreme. So moving around. Don't go mad on these bending your sticks. Just go how you normally use them, because if you've got standard Hall effect gimbals, you will find that because of plastic, they can bend a little bit, and you can get inaccurate readings. Put them back to the middle. We've got our pots. So all the way down and all the way up, that's fine. So we've done that, and then we're going to click next, and that's calibrated. As simple as that. Always make sure you do that, or you don't want to get any funky behavior. But there we have it. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you not? I think personally it looks fantastic. I really like the white cover. It stands out more. Obviously we've got our lights as well. I've put a few different colours on here, but it looks absolutely ice. That looks fantastic. So yeah, really, really happy with that. So basically, if you want to do that yourself, you can go onto Radiomaster's website and you can pick up a grey cover where you can spray it yourself if you're into that. I don't know whether they advertise this, but I did just message Radiomaster. I sent them a bit of an email just to say, look, I'd really like the white cover. Please can you make it available for sale? I'll pay for it. And they said, yeah, sure, no problem at all. And they sorted it out. And I do know, I did mention it to a friend that I was doing this, and he said, oh, I'd love a white one. He did exactly the same. And again, they replied to him saying, yeah, no problem. So if Radiomaster are watching this, which I highly doubt, make them available to buy. I think we'd all like the option of purchasing a crush cover, yellow, pink, orange, green, white, whatever it may be. For whatever reason, if you're not prepared to do that, then please make these radios available from the start, customizing. But that was it. Just a quick one to show you how to do this. If you do it yourself, please be careful. Make sure you don't break anything, but I think you'll agree it looks fantastic. If you like the video, please drop a like, and obviously leave a comment as well. All the interaction really just help more people see my videos. And if you like this sort of thing and you want to see flights, reviews, anything tech related, to be fair, and FPV, then please do consider subscribing. It's completely free. It just means you'll get notified of any new videos, helps more people see the channel, and it'll help us grow. And the more I grow, the more things I can get on the channel as well. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one soon. Peace.